Good afternoon, I'm Colette Linden.
And I'm Danny Dupuis. Welcome to the special report.
Today's show is sponsored by who?
Casey Security.
Thanks, Casey Security. I think the Premier is delayed today. I don't think it's coming on until later, but we will update you and we'll post it on Sue Online, but we will be showing that feed live later. Speaking of live, do we have anybody on Facebook we need to say hi to, Dave?
As of right now, I don't see anyone and it's not loading.
Okay, well, come on, guys. Let's go.
Come on, we need those afternoon hellos and stuff. Get us moving.
I know you're wearing red today, but tomorrow is actually, we'd like you to join us in wearing red to honor the victims and RCMP officer and the first responders from that tragedy in Nova Scotia over the last weekend. So hashtag Wear Red Fridays it is. We are going to talk a little bit about The Refinery. It's a local fitness gym here in the Sioux. And I don't know if you've ever been iced before, but I just learned from Danny today what ice means. It means someone's left a Smirnoff Ice. Chris, did you know what that meant?
It's awful.
I had no idea.
It's awful.
They leave a Smirnoff Ice on your porch or wherever, the front door, and take off. So we've got a video of the owner, Holly, doing this with the gym with the members.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Mike's going to cue that up for us and show us in a minute, and when he's got that ready, we'll share with you. There you go. So that's Holly. Love her. She's great. And actually, we have an interview with her next week. But she's got some girls just want to have fun in the background. So she's just going to see her clients and dropping off these ice. So I think that's a great way to just keep connected with your members and have a little fun. So so thanks Holly and The Refinery for being awesome, and we look forward to interviewing you next week. I had an interview with Angela Caputo today from The Breakfast Club. That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
That is a big scoop.
Oh my gosh. I mean, The Breakfast Pig, which is one badass eatery apparently.
So good.
Right?
It is
so good. So Angela was saying that she started to make bag lunches every Monday for the children who need it. She started with 100. And now she's over 275, and they've raised $10,000. Wow. And I've got goosebumps even telling you about it. So tomorrow we're going to have The Breakfast Pig, the badass eatery, interviewed for you to watch. What about the weather? I'm sorry, I skipped over that.
Oh, don't worry about it. So our weather right now, it's 4 or 5 right now with a low of 2. And like we said, tomorrow it's going to be 10. Saturday, I was having a look at the weather before coming on, and it's just 10 all across the boards. It's beautiful. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be nice. There's going to be a nice little breeze too, but you're looking at mainly sunny for the next few days.
Now, literally. The rain is gone. Anyway, really that's my singing for you. Why don't we tell everybody about the Soup Kitchen Challenge, and then we'll throw to Chris for an update.
So on top of baked lunches, the Soup Kitchen has also been doing baked lunches as well, and they've so far done 150, and 250 was the most baked lunches they've seen given out within a day.
No way.
And they're doing that between 11 to 4:30 Monday through Friday.
Awesome.
And we had John Palmero.
John Palmero, yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to say it right or say it wrong. He's partnered with Don Bruni from, oh my gosh, where are we right here? Another insurance or Micro Age.
Okay.
And they're donating $500 each a month to the Soup Kitchen to help with this breakfast program.
Well, thanks to both of them for that generosity. One more thing before I throw to you, Chris, I lied. For All Yoga, an awesome lady owns this. Her name is Denise. She wants to keep the older generation moving and happy, so she's offering yoga classes online for free for the 50 plus group. And on top of that, she's such an amazing person. The other yoga classes can be paid in acts of kindness. Oh, wow. Or, catch up with her and give her $10 here. But there's another person that just gave me goosebumps. She's an amazing person. Go to Facebook, search For All Yoga. 4 as in the number 4. We love you, Denise. You're doing awesome. Over to Chris.
Thank you very much. A study just came out in the U.S. about COVID-19 and New York City. They tested 3,000 people randomly across the whole city, and they found out that 21.2% of people actually tested positive, not for coronavirus, but for the antibodies to fight against it. So this is very promising, because if you have the antibodies to fight against COVID-19, you can't really develop COVID-19 because your body's able to fight against it. So that's some promising news that people are getting exposed to it. They're not actually catching COVID-19 and having the symptoms, and of course the Premier's here.
Well, I guess we lied to everybody, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah.
Oops, I'm sorry. So when the Premier has stepped up to the point, we're going to throw to the Premier now.
So they know what to do in the event of an outbreak. My friends, we're all in on this fight. and that means getting resources and support to where they're needed. It means giving a helping hand, and I want to take a moment to thank our frontline heroes. Thank you to all the dedicated and hardworking staff who are working and helping those in need in our shelters and group homes across the province. Together we are stronger, and together we will conquer this virus. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister Smith.
Thanks very much, Premier, and good afternoon. I'm happy to be here today to provide an update on the work our government is doing to support our vulnerable populations. But before I begin, I want to thank the ministers and their teams who couldn't join us here today, but worked day and night to get this plan off the ground. Ministers Greg Rickford, Sylvia Jones, Jill Dunlop, Steve Clark, and Lisa Thompson, and of course, Minister Elliott, who is with us here today. We know there are immediate pressures facing congregated residential settings outside of long-term care. And we know homes serving those with developmental disabilities, shelters for survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking, homeless shelters, and children and youth residential settings are at higher risk for COVID-19 transmission. That's why today, our government is taking immediate action to build upon previous efforts to protect our most vulnerable clients in these homes and our Indigenous residential settings, both on and off reserve. Our Vulnerable Populations COVID-19 Action Plan includes a series of actions to be put in place over the next 48 hours and coming days that are targeted at enhancing screening and testing in these settings to stop the spread of COVID-19. Over the next 48 hours, a combination of enhanced screening and reduced exposure measures will stabilize outbreaks in many of these settings. To start, we will increase screening of both visitors, staff, and residents, make the use of masks mandatory in high-risk settings, and provide additional guidance and training in the use of PPE. And in certain high-risk settings, limit staff to working for just one employer. Next, we will address the need to control infection, manage outbreaks, and limit the spread of the virus. This includes enhanced testing, contact tracing, further limits on staff mobility, enhanced guidance of PPE usage and conservation, training and education on how to deal with an outbreak, developing alternate plans to move clients or close locations, and better supporting the province's homeless shelters. The third pillar of our plan will focus on maintaining staffing levels and managing staff shortages. Under our protection plan, we will stabilize the workforce, we'll protect capacity by leveraging workers with equivalent skills from other community agencies. As we implement this plan, we will continue to work across government and with our sector partners and agencies to explore additional measures that can be taken. I want to once again take this opportunity to thank our partners in the social services sector. I cannot put into words how much our government and the entire province appreciates you and the work that you're doing. Ontario and Canada is 100% behind you, cheering you on every single day. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And to all Ontarians who are doing their part, they're staying home to stop the spread or volunteering and donating where you can to support others, thank you for everything you're doing and your sacrifices. Together, we will conquer COVID-19. Thank you.
We'll go to the phone line for questions. First question.
First question comes from Lisa Shing from CBC. Please go ahead.
Hi there, Premier. Premier, we're looking at more than 500 deaths in long-term care homes so far today. We heard from the Prime Minister today as well, and says we need to do a better job for the people in these homes and that we're failing them. Did you fail the residents in long-term care here in Ontario?
Well, when I think of the long-term care, Lisa, my heart breaks for the people and the families. Can we do better in the system? Yeah, the system, absolutely, but we're focused 100% on making sure we help the most vulnerable people. And Lisa, when I see,
Well, welcome back. And Chris got cut off again. So
Sorry, Chris.
poor Chris. How about you finish your sentence now, buddy?
Alrighty. Do we have anybody else that can cut me off? Or
Oh, wait, I have something more to say. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Okay, so I'll just summarize what I was trying to say before, and that is basically in New York, they did a random sample of 3,000 people, and they basically found 1 in 5 actually had developed antibodies against the coronavirus, which means that they have a high chance of not being able to ever actually develop the coronavirus, the COVID-19, because they've built up the antibodies to fight against it. So that's actually promising news. That literally came out 1 minute before we went to air, so I'll have to look deeper into that actual study and bring more information tomorrow. However, that is promising news with that sort of top-line number. So.
Way to go. That is promising. So yesterday we did a roundtable discussion. Today we're going to do one again, and it's a killer today. It is Anderson Cooper with the mayor of Las Vegas. Stay tuned for that. And Danny, you have one last announcement before we go to commercial. Why don't you let everybody know?
Fire Services just announced on Facebook that they'll be doing a giveaway shortly, and as well as a little social media contest. So people out there, be prepared for Fire Services to be posting about this contest. So there's some cool prizes that you can win, and there's more to that, so stay tuned.
Everyone's doing so much in this community. I love Sault Ste. Marie. We will be right back after this commercial break. Well, welcome back.
Hello.
We're going to start the round table soon. Just to let you know, we've got some sports stuff. If we have some more time after we do the round table, we're going to go into some sports. So, Chris, I'm going to throw it to you to start because you were the one that introduced us to this video, and take the win on this.
Yes. The brilliant mayor of Las Vegas yesterday decided to go on Anderson Cooper's show on CNN and decided to go for 25 minutes digging a deeper and deeper hole, showing she knows absolutely nothing about almost anything. I have no idea how this lady was ever even elected. She said that people in Vegas are different types of human beings than people in China, for one example.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like when she kept saying, I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor, but I'm not a politician. What the heck?
It's like, no, by definition, if you're a mayor, you're a politician.
Yes, like, you ran an election. Guess what you are?
Oh my goodness.
We should start with the clip that blew my mind entirely. And again, it's just the part where she just says They're
Yeah.
different from human beings in China.
Yeah, apparently Chinese air conditioning is different than Las Vegas air conditioning.
Yes, so I guess it would
Oh
be.
God, I still can't believe this happened.
So we're going to start with that, and you'll see that clip's coming up shortly. When it does, we're going to stop talking so that
Yeah.
you can. Here you go.
That's what you said.
We weren't broken when we were closed down, and
You
yet
stand
all
by
of
what
us,
you said.
I think I had it.
You said
believe
let
we
the
need to be
businesses open. Competition will destroy that business if in fact they
Yes.
get evidence they have a disease
Yes.
there. So that
Yes.
should happen. Just let the businesses open. If it becomes a vector for viral infection and those people go back to their states and around the world, so be it.
It's a responsibility of each one of us as a human being and part of the civilized world to know when we're sick. We don't do bad things to people at all. ever.
Yes, so
This is a city that's built
that's just a little tidbit of
Genius.
the lack
Yes.
of brains and knowledge. But the clip that we wanted to show you is actually, she makes reference to the fact that Anderson Cooper brings up a little drawing and
pretty
says,
good
you know, this
visual.
person was here and all these people were infected. There were 14 people, and this happened in China. And she giggles and says, "Oh, Anderson, we're not Chinese. We are from Las Vegas, Nevada." And then he responds with, Chris, why didn't you tell them how he responded to that question?
That is the most ignorant statement I've ever heard. Was Anderson
Exclamation
Cooper's
mark.
response
Yep.
to that. And in the clip we just watched, she was literally saying, I'm offering up the businesses in this town to open up, and if one of them happens to spread the virus, then free enterprise will shut them down, and the businesses that don't spread the virus will survive. That is the most messed up logic of what free enterprise actually is, as I've ever seen in an
That's
interview.
absolutely yeah.
The amazing thing about that interview is it went 25 minutes and 42 seconds. Just to give you an idea of how a half-hour television goes, it's normally 22 minutes worth of TV and 8 minutes of commercials. They went 25 minutes and 42 seconds straight. I've never seen something like that happen before on purpose, unless it was a presidential interview where they weren't doing commercials at all.
Well, I think a lot of politicians we're seeing from the States are ninny hammers. So can we maybe cue up the next video? I'm not too sure if we can do that, but if you're ready to go, but if we could play that next clip just to entertain our viewers.
incorporated county. Our jurisdiction here,
I'm
City
sure.
of Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
my heart doesn't. I mean,
And so-
casino owners.
no.
I'm sure they're. They're probably doing okay. It's the people who are working on the floor who are the ones who are going to become infected and potentially
Well,
die.
no, you're talking disease. I'm talking life. I'm talking life and living.
Yes.
These
Yeah.
are
She's
people
talking
who
about
are
life here,
doing
folks,
bad
and not disease. And there's no connection apparently between the two.
here in Las Vegas.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even.
she.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. She's in one sentence. She's saying she wants everything to open up, and that somehow there's nothing wrong. There's also something else here. Of the 163 people in all of Nevada that died, 150 happened to be in her jurisdiction. So almost every person who has died in all of Nevada died under the area where she is the mayor, and she has. Even the casino service employees union has said, we don't want to open up. I mean, they had 11 people die in one day, by the way, the day prior to this mayor doing the interview. And she seems to have, she's so concerned about the casino owners. I mean, these guys are millionaires, if not billionaires. And I'm sure they're not worried about where the next paycheck is coming from. And they could pay their employees if they wanted to.
That's right.
They have enough money in the bank. They're casinos. They print money.
Friends with the owners, and she's really pushing that initiative and to make money for her city. So also the other comment she made was, well, we have sports teams here. Well, no, you don't, lady,
No.
because there
No,
are no sports
no.
playing. We have another little clip. Actually, there was one that really bothered me, and she talked about she's worried about the homeless people. But if you do recall, we did show you a clip of the
Yeah.
Las Vegas putting their homeless in a parking lot.
and little
So
cubicles lined out.
this
like-
lady, I don't know. Anyway, the
And
next
Vegas has 155,000 hotel rooms. It has the most hotel rooms of any city in the entire U.S. And they put their homeless people in a parking lot.
Yeah. Well, Anderson Cooper made one other action that I think we should end this session on. So, Mike, if you could cue that one up, maybe we can show everybody exactly how Anderson Cooper felt about the interview.
anybody who is in or comes into the office that needs
And-
an appointment, and has to make sure they all are
Oh, I've had
with
enough
their
of this,
masks
okay.
on,
And
or we
okay,
always
so
enforce social
I think we
distancing
can all
and
just
beyond.
I'll just
do
make the
that
face.
too. So, well, that's your roundtable for today. So when we were talking about sports earlier, there is the NFL draft tonight at 7:00.
That's going to be interesting how they're going to be doing it too.
Yeah, for sure. And
Maybe they could go play in Vegas.
maybe
Just run the whole league there.
maybe. But there's also I noticed when we started getting emails with stories about the Thunderbirds, the Sioux Thunderbirds. They are doing Throwback Thursdays and Tossback Tuesdays.
Oh,
Yeah, which is really good. So that's what about the zoo in New York City?
well, there was the Bronx Zoo, and as a lot of people know, there was one tiger who tested positive, and as of recently yesterday, there are a total of 8 tigers now who test positive. And on top of that, we were kind of looking into it for the Toronto Zoo and what they're doing for their measures. And the Toronto Zoo is screening all of their employees. They're also going through and just keep making sure and implementing all the safe precautions. But hey, we just got to keep hoping that none of the tigers are being exposed.
That's right. That's right. I think we're going to throw to a quick commercial break right now, and we'll be right back.
At Maitland Ford Lincoln, we see our trucks everywhere. We see them on Queen Street, Lake Street, North Street, Bay Street, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, Pine Street, Great Northern Peoples Road, Wellington, Cora Road, Bruce Street, Carmen's Way, Northern Ave, Trunk Road.
Folks come from all over Algoma District and beyond to buy their truck at Maitland Ford Lincoln. Amazing prices, outstanding service.
King Street, Shannon Road, Goulet Bay, Black Road, Government Road, and even on Pine Shores.
Yep, our trucks are everywhere. Get yours at Maitland Ford Lincoln, built for Northern life on Great Northern Road, just north of the hospital.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road? A few sharp turns. And doing things for what we adore, but might regret later. A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
Welcome back.
Hello.
We're sponsored by Casey Security. Yesterday, we mentioned the AA meetings, counseling services, social services. The government has introduced new measures now to allow mental health and addictions agencies to redeploy their staff. They're also giving them extra funding for part-time workers or temporary staff or contractors in order to ensure that everyone's getting the proper care during this time.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to update everybody on that. I thought that was a great announcement that they included in yesterday's piece. And, just Google your social services here in town, and they are doing things over the phone and by email.
They're really trying to accommodate for everything right now, and like how they can best help their clients and people who need it right now. So they're there just, and the thing is too, what they encourage is just a simple call to even ask like what services are available too.
Yeah, there was also an article about violence in the children in the home, and that children are more susceptible to that too. So I know that the social service is available for the children as well. So anyways, we wanted to share that information with you. We I noticed on the weekend they had this huge concert, and didn't know anything. And all three of us had this
Yeah, we had
discussion
no
actually
idea.
that we didn't know it was coming on. And then Chris was letting us know that there's a Canadian one this weekend. We're going to have more information on that tomorrow. But it just triggers another conversation about Ticketmaster. They have the worst reputation.
Oh my God, do they ever? I don't even like buying tickets. Like, I feel uncomfortable sometimes buying
from
tickets
overcharging and
Yeah.
adding fees. So what's going on right now is they're in deep crap because they keep selling tickets for concerts that are coming up. Like, guys, don't go to concerts right now. You know, there is that responsibility on the purchaser's shoulders to say, hey, maybe not buy a ticket, but they're not giving refunds.
No.
They're not giving refunds.
And don't they state that too within it?
I'm sure they have to have that statement somewhere on there.
It's probably in the print that's like the 4-point font that you can barely read.
I wouldn't have a chance in hell.
Guys, they're canceling everything right now. Why do you think your concerts are still going to go on?
Yeah, they're not.
And actually, in every version of the government reopening the economy, whether you look at the 3-step process or the 5-step process, sporting events and concerts are the very last thing to open back up. And even when they do, it'll be like every other seat and things like that
Yeah,
too.
and I would imagine that would be the same for casinos, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, but
we could
the
just
air
watch
is
the video.
different in Vegas.
Oh, right, the air conditioning is
the air
different.
conditioning is
I
different in
Everything's
Vegas.
different there, remember?
I think tomorrow's roundtable we were going to talk about that phase, that rollout plan that Chris had mentioned, that model, the 3-step, 5-step phase, or the 5-phase, because things are going to have to be rolled out eventually, and we have to get back to life as we knew it, or who knows what the new norm's going to be. So tomorrow we're going to be highlighting that. So make sure you come back tomorrow for that.
And it's Friday too, so and we're always in such a better mood on Friday. We're excited.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll be wearing red.
And we'll be wearing red, so make sure you wear your red tomorrow. Another thing is there's a civil liberties group or association that's fighting on behalf of citizens who are getting tickets for going to the parks and running, or going to golf courses and running because of the ban and the quarantine ban on right now. But this group is trying to back you up and saying, no, we're not paying these tickets, and a lot of people are asking just for reminders. You know what? Hey, this is closed. You can't work out here. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on that, but I don't even know what the ticket would be. Do you know that?
No,
Chris?
neither do I.
I don't know. Someone had $1 million ticket for a party, apparently. So
That must have been one heck of a
that's
party.
one hell of a party.
Did Ticketmaster make any money on that one?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. So we're glad we were here for the premiere today. And Chris, we're going to throw back to you for you to update everyone once again before we leave for the day.
Yes, thank you very much. So just going back to that Las Vegas mayor, it's very interesting that yesterday also a study came out from the Department of Human and Health Services in the U.S., which showed that if the U.S. right now stopped social distancing and people went back to work and back out in the public, at least, at a bare minimum, 300,000 more people would die from COVID-19. So I'm not sure exactly what the Las Vegas mayor was thinking there. She probably obviously didn't read that study. And also, we did get out some numbers from Algoma Public Health just a few minutes ago. And we've now tested over 1,600 people. Still only 12 positives. We still have 9 results, so there's still 3 positive cases, as there has been for the last few days. And the number of cases that we're waiting for the results from has actually dropped down to 341. It was over 400 yesterday afternoon. So we are at least seeing some promising results in terms of we're not getting that many more cases of COVID-19. We haven't had a new case since last Friday. That's positive. That was the hospital worker who tested positive last Friday. But there's no outbreak at the hospital or anything like that associated to that. I will be talking with Ross Romano, our MPP, tomorrow. It'll be on at 7 p.m., the full interview. And we will be talking about locally what's been going on with COVID-19, and then also what's going to be happening with the college and university students as well,
That's a big one.
and what we're going to be looking at going forward there. So.
Great. That's great, Chris. Thanks a lot. Couple more things. So as I was saying before we threw to commercial, the Thunderbirds, if you go to their website, their throwbacks and their turn back Thursdays, just highlighting players who, just to keep everybody thinking about hockey.
It's fun. It's a great memory and reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll leave you this one last thought for today. J-Lo and A-Rod, better known as J-Rod? How can we combine them? They're buying the New York Mets, so good for you. That's a nice day at work. I'm buying a New York Mets. So again, thank you to Casey Security for sponsoring us. Hashtag in this together SSM, and email us to specialreportssm@gmail.com. We'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.